Hello friends, and welcome to our video. Whether you happen to be tuning in for the first time or whether you've kindly subscribed to our channel, and likewise whether you're new friends or whether you're my old dear beloved and treasured friends, then all are welcome, and it's just wonderful to have this opportunity to spend some time with you and with our dear friends and beloveds in the next world, in the spiritual realms. As I understand it today, my spirit friends would like to share their philosophy, and so in a little while, as previously, I will step back from my awareness and hopefully soften my thoughts in order that my spirit friend Brian can blend his vibration, his energy, and the thoughts of the collective, their philosophy, their inspiration today. And for those of you who may not have seen our videos before, I'll just briefly say that, when we're working in this way, in the altered state of trance, it is always experimental, and I endeavour to do the best that I can do to let go of my mind and my thoughts so that my own mind and thoughts aren't interfering with the subject matter and the content of that which my spirit friends wish to share and offer. And likewise, we would just say and encourage you once more that to say that it's not just about the philosophy and the words, it's about the whole experience. So very much, even though, as we've said before, obviously this is a recording, so it's not live in the moment, but as you sit there and you tune in and you're focusing and kindly watching and listening, we would just say, notice what you notice. Perhaps take a moment just to notice how you feel right now in this moment. And then when we've finished our recording today, our time together, just notice once more how you feel. And equally, as we're working, just as best you can, just feel into the experience and just again be aware of how you feel, how your immediate environment feels, and also likewise in regard to your own mediumistic gifts. We are all mediums. We all have the light of the spirit within us, our own spirit, which has many, many gifts. I'm sure many of which we know about, but equally some perhaps which we don't. So, in this time as well, in this time of sharing and interaction, again, just feel into that whole experience, and perhaps, if you will, maybe visualize the sun and the expanding light of the sun, and that is indicative of your own spirit. It's like, I suppose, a TV signal, the aerial, or a radio, and you're tuning it in to a different frequency. So just give it a go and just notice what you notice. And likewise, perhaps you may get a sense a bit more about my spirit friend Brian, about his character, his personality. It may be for those of you who are gifted clairvoyantly with your sight. You may see him, you may see features of his face, maybe you may see items of clothing, maybe you may sense the period of time that he lived in, or information about him. So just be mindful, if you wish to be, and interact in that way with what you're sensing, what you're feeling, what you may be seeing. It might be, for example, you may see particular colours, and so just go with it, we would say, and encourage you to just be open and to enjoy this time together. And as previously, but again for the benefit of those who may not have seen our previous video, I do like to open in prayer, and this just helps to focus me towards the light and the power and the love of the next world and our dear ones. And equally, it just helps to settle and to once more to bring that focus in and towards, and to offer my intentions for this time. So once again, if you wish to join in, then that's lovely. And equally, if you don't, and if you're not into prayer, then equally that's absolutely fine, of course. You know, nothing is ever forced. It's entirely your choice. You know, perhaps just skip the prayer bit if you so desire, and then continue, hopefully. Okay, so and also just to say that when we've concluded, when Brian has finished sharing his words today, then he will just gently step back from my awareness, and I will bring my own mind back to the here and now and the present time. And once again, I will just finish with a closing prayer. Okay. Divine Spirit, Mother Earth, Father God, as we sit together and focus upon the light, the love, the healing power, and the inspiration from your world, the spiritual realms, which some name to be heaven, we offer our deepest gratitude that we are able to do this, and that we have the technology also to make these recordings and to offer them to those who wish to receive and be part of them. We offer thanks this day for our lives as a whole, for everything that's gone before it that's led us to this point, and likewise for the present time, and for those times and our pathway which has yet to unfold. We thank you for the miracle that is this life in the earthly world, and our physical bodies that keep our spirit safe within. We thank you for the gifts that we have, in whatever shape, manner or form they may have manifested in our lives, and equally those which perhaps have not yet manifested and unfolded. We thank you. We thank you, Divine Spirit, also for giving us the resources, our minds, to learn, to think, to understand, to hopefully grow in our mental capacity. And likewise, we thank you for our emotional selves, that we are able to feel and experience the joy in our lives, but equally not forgetting the suffering that we experience also. And that whilst it is so extraordinarily painful at times, it is all exactly as it is intended, so that we may hopefully learn once more and grow, and hopefully that our spirit, our divine light, will also grow and evolve. Divine Spirit, we think of our planet at this time, to all life, human life and the animal kingdom, plant life and beautiful trees in our world. We ask that your healing power and your light will bless and gently engulf all life, so that we may move forwards and come out the other end of this time of lockdown and this virus that is in our world. Please help us with our struggles, which may be so acute at this time as a result of the uncertainty and the worry and fear that this can grow. We ask, Divine Spirit, that you help us to release those fears and worries and anxieties. Help us to move towards, even more so, acceptance and understanding as best we can, and equally taking each day as it comes. And also endeavouring to do the best that we can in every way for ourselves and those close to us, who may be within our household at this time. And likewise, we think of our beloved friends and neighbours, work colleagues, community. We also think of the key workers, the NHS, and to all those other wonderful, selfless individuals who are helping all of us at this time. And those key workers driving trains and buses and public transport. For those who are working, sorting out our prescriptions, and working in the supermarket so that we are able to get our groceries. And have our cupboards well stocked. To those refuse collectors who take away our rubbish and keep everything clean and tidy. And every single other job that is undertaken by those key workers. And also let's not forget about those behind closed doors, especially those who are caring for others, whether it be their children, elderly relatives, however they may be caring, in whatever form or forms that may take. We think of them all, those that we know and those that we don't. We also think of those who, including ourselves, who at this time cannot be physically close to those that we love and cherish and care about so deeply. We ask, Divine Spirit, that you please bring your comfort, your warmth, help us to know how loved we are, even though we may not be able to physically be in the same room or the same house together. That love is eternal, that bond and connection with our dear ones in the earthly world and our dear ones in your world. We thank you, Divine Spirit, for all that you bring. Once more, everything that we know about and equally everything that we don't. And finally, Divine Spirit, I ask that in this time, would you please help me to let go, to surrender my mind and my thoughts, so that my dear beloved spirit friends may step close, and then even closer still, to share that which they wish to do and offer this day, always in truth and love and humility. And I now entrust this time to your care and your keeping and your love. And I ask that you please be with me. Thank you. Amen. Dear ones, we are most delighted once again to join you, to communicate with you, to spend a little while conversing and offering our words to you this day. Likewise, it is quite extraordinary once more that we are able to communicate with these electrical devices in your earthly world, and that no matter where you may be, you're able to access, listen and observe that which you are watching. It is quite miraculous, we feel. Dear ones, today we should very much like to offer our words and our thoughts in regard to life in the world unseen, life in the spiritual realms, or perhaps you would name the afterlife, perhaps heaven. You see, it is our understanding that there is a significant mystery surrounding that which you name to be physical death in the earthly world, and that which we name to be a rebirth into your new life. We know and understand that many in the earthly world have, quite understandably, and we respect, thoughts along the lines of there being a heaven and a hell, so to speak, a place of light and a place of darkness. And whilst, of course, we would never cast any judgment or disrespect upon any individual's faith and belief and views and thoughts, etc., it is our understanding that the world of which we reside in the spiritual realms does indeed have many spheres, many levels, but yet there is no hellish inferno of fire and flames. However, there are those levels and spheres where many spirits, many souls reside at the present time, whilst continuing to evolve. For example, there are those who perhaps do not feel ready to take the next step. There are those who perhaps in their earthly incarnation were focused predominantly upon material wealth and property, perhaps motor vehicles and luxury goods. And because they still feel a sense of attachment, they do not feel completely ready to travel onwards, you see. But let it be known that for these individuals, equally there are those who tend them, who love them and care, and offer encouragement all the time, very gently, to help them to accept that they have now moved from their earthly physical incarnation and existence and no longer need their physical earthly wealth and possessions and material goods, that there is a higher state of life and existence waiting for them. But you see, let us make it perfectly clear that no individual is pushed or pulled. It is entirely their own free will and choice when they are ready to take that next step forward, not in a dissimilar fashion to yourselves in the earthly world, that you are able to embody your free will and choice to varying degrees throughout your life. And then you see there are those individuals who, perhaps some of which you know personally, have left the earthly world very swiftly. Perhaps they were involved in some terrible accident and found themselves very swiftly residing and stepping through the doorway into the next world, into the spiritual realms. Perhaps also for those individuals who, sadly, for whatever reason or reasons, could not tolerate their earthly incarnation and decided to take matters into their own hands to end their physical life, that which you know and understand to be suicide. For these individuals who leave the earthly world and their physical incarnation very quickly, they arrive in a state of confusion and uncertainty, but you see equally they are met with love, they are met with kindness, they are met with a great warmth and healing light. If it is they wish to partake and allow themselves to be enfolded in this. If it is the case that they do, then they gently take time to rest in the healing waters and the natural planes or spheres within our world. But if it is the case that they are not ready to continue to take that next step forward, then equally they remain at the state of being exactly where they are. But let us be clear in stating that they have made that journey, that transition from their physical earthly existence, having left their physical body and arrived safely in our world. You see, we understand there is a theory in the earthly world that souls or spirit, as you would so name the light within you, can become lost or stuck and so forth. But you see, it is our understanding that truly no spirit, no soul can become lost. And the reason is simply this: your spirit is made of an eternal source of light and love, and it is connected to the eternal, magnificent and glorious creative source of all light and all life, which perhaps for many of you name to be in the earthly world as God. This universal source of love and power and healing, which has created your own blessed spirit, cannot help but be connected together, you see. And therefore, simply that, your spirit cannot be lost. And in regard to the aspect of the spirit becoming stuck or has not fully made its transition to our world, or for those of you who would understand such matters of paranormal phenomena and ghosts, so to speak, let us be clear in stating this to you. It is our understanding that whilst there can indeed be an energetic residue, that which would be named to be a ghost, the spirit has travelled onward. The spirit has left the earthly world, and that which remains is we would name to be an echo, a residue. We know that there are those in the earthly world who wish and are rather very enthused in wishing to undertake experiments with their different electrical devices and recording equipment to capture phenomena, imagery and sound and movement and so forth of paranormal activity or ghosts. And you see, whilst there has indeed in the earthly world been successful recordings, it is our understanding that these are few and far between. You see, for us to engage with such earthly physical items, you see, to create movement and noise and to manifest, it takes an enormous amount of power. You see, it is not dissimilar from an individual running a marathon, you see, that there is great preparation involved and training of one's physical body and mental state and emotional capacity, in order that all preparations are made, that individual is prepared and ready and as able as they're going to be to set forth and run the marathon. And we use this analogy in a not dissimilar manner from those in our world, for you see, it does indeed take a great deal of preparation to step forward to the earthly world, for the vibration that we feel is very heavy, you see. It is not dissimilar perhaps from jumping into a swimming pool fully clothed and then exiting and feeling that sense of heaviness and perhaps a sensation of wetness. You see, it does take an enormous amount of energy. Initially to step close and then to sustain the power, you see. And equally, if it is in regard to moving items and engaging, and that you may hear voices upon your electrical equipment, recording equipment, and likewise imagery, then that phenomena takes an even greater amount of power to manifest, you see, if it is the case that there are no individuals in the earthly world who are, let us say, feeding into or providing further energetic matter of their own. To simply create this phenomena that it may be recorded would indeed take a supreme effort from those in our world. Forgive the slight deviation, but we feel this is relevant to that of which we are speaking. Therefore, you see, these echoes, these ghosts are a residue, a vibration. There is no intelligence behind those echoes. It is, as you would understand, like watching a film upon your television equipment, and you're seeing images play out in front of you. Perhaps you have heard of the Tower of London in Great Britain, and it is recorded or has been recorded over decades, all manner of phenomena and different ghosts that supposedly inhabit different areas. There is, as we understand it, a grey lady who walks up and down a particular corridor. And to use this dear lady as an example, you see, it is a residue. It is a residue, an echo, a vibration. She is not stuck. She is not literally pacing up and down. She has traveled onwards. But you see the aspect of trauma and distress that she went through in the earthly world has left an echo, a residue energetically which continues to play out, you see, and that is why, on very rare occasions, she has been witnessed walking up and down. But you see, once more, and to be perfectly clear, she has travelled onwards. And it is the case that this echo, this residue remains, but she is still complete. She has not left a piece of herself behind, so to speak. You see, when we speak of matters of energy and vibrations, this is part and parcel of yourself in the earthly world, but equally part and parcel of your spirit within, your divine light, that which is eternal, that which is unbreakable, that which is without boundary or limit in any regard. It is a force field of power. And you see, can only be defined in your own mind and your own understanding and your own perception and your own reality of how you perceive that to be. Whether it be a ball of light, whether it be the prettiest flower you have ever seen, however your own gift of imagination affords you. It is made of matter, it is made of energy, it is made of light, you see. And whilst it is residing within your physical earthly body, made of flesh and made of bones, it breathes and lives in perfect synchronicity in the time of which it is inhabiting your physical body. And then, at the time when you leave the earthly world and the spirit knows it is time to travel onward, as your physical body ceases to exist and your heart beats no longer, that blessed light within you freely travels out and onwards to its new life, to its new reality, to the next step in its evolution. And therefore, that light, that energetic matter, the vibration of which is you, still does have its intelligence attached to it, its personality and its character, even though it is not able to be recognized anymore in a physical form. Very much it is recognized energetically. Imagine, if you will, walking into a room where many friends are seated or perhaps standing. Perhaps you have just arrived at a party. There will be those, before you have even opened your mouth to communicate, who you instinctively feel drawn to. And there will be those, perhaps, who you do not feel instinctively drawn to. So therefore, you see, in those moments, there has been an energetic exchange, a resonance, a vibration. And this is not simply in regard to physical life. This is in regard to buildings and places within the natural world. It is limitless. It is in regard to every single item, area, location, building, and so forth in the earthly world. Perhaps equally at this same party, as you have entered the house, it may have a warmth and a comfort and a happiness about it. Or perhaps it has a sadness about it. You see, it has breathed in, so to speak, the energetic matter of those inhabitants within it. And you see your own awareness, your own spirit has received and picked up the frequency, so to speak, of the vibration. And intuitively you feel, you know, you understand in words, in your mind and in your emotional self and your emotional capacity, that which is before you. It is quite extraordinary, would you not agree? You see, dear ones, even for those of you who perhaps may not feel particularly at a point in your life and your evolution whereby spiritual matters may not be at the forefront of your mind. Nevertheless, because you are made of light, and your spirit within lives and breathes and exists, then you cannot help but have perhaps that which you name to be a sixth sense or a gut feeling. And these are all indications, you see, of your own divine light, your spirit within assisting you, endeavoring to offer help, offer guidance and gentle direction. But very subtly, you see, very subtly indeed, which is why on many occasions it can be missed altogether unless something is, as you would say in your modern times, screamingly obvious. We do hope that this has given an aspect of clarity in regard to the matter of energy and your vibration and energetic matter. So you see, it is the case that when you leave your physical life, your physical body, once more that which you call death, and you travel onward to our world, spiritual realms, you may wonder who may be waiting to greet you, and how does that occur? And it is our understanding, you see, that every single individual is met. You do not simply arrive in some abyss, shall we say, of solitude. Indeed not. You are always greeted and met by those who you love and who love you. It is the most glorious reunion and celebration of joy and delight, you see, for the loss that it is in the earthly world. It is the most glorious gain for your homecoming. And you see, whether it is the case that an individual may leave the earthly world swiftly, as we have spoken earlier this day, whether it be taking one's own life by way of suicide, whether it may be some terrible accident, whether it may simply be the passage of time, of old age and infirmity, of disease and poor health. Whatever the circumstances may be surrounding an individual's passing from the earthly world to the spiritual realms, whether it is swift or whether it is protracted in its timeline, so to speak, every single individual is met. It is our understanding, and through having gone through this process myself, there are a few moments, a few seconds whereby you have an awareness that you are leaving your physical body, you're leaving the earthly world, and you see this glorious peacefulness and stillness continues to build, and the doorway does indeed open, inviting you to travel onwards. And as you gently pass through from that which was your physical body, that of which is then your light, your matter, there is a sense of movement, there is a sense of release, there is a sense of freedom, and it does not altogether feel completely euphoric and wonderful. There is a sense of uncertainty, but you see that thought gently melts away, because that is an earthbound thought of the fear of the uncertainty of the unknown. Because you see, this light And this peacefulness and stillness and love does grow very swiftly. And the vibration and the undercurrent of love and encouragement and happiness and joy is so overwhelming that you cannot help but gravitate towards it, you see. And then you see once more those beloveds standing there, those perhaps who you have not seen for many, many years in the earthly world, and the joy cannot be contained. It is exquisite beyond all imaginings, you see. So you see those few moments, those few seconds whereby you are in neither one world or the other. They pass by very, very swiftly. And even if it is the case to be perfectly clear, to put your mind at ease, hopefully, even for those dear individuals in the earthly world, once more, who may have passed and left the earthly world with such trauma. Perhaps another has taken their life in most monstrous and heinous circumstances. And perhaps they were not peaceful, shall we say, at all. Nevertheless, the light and the power emerges as the doorway opens, and they are embraced. They are held most gently in light. And of course, for those dear individuals, it does then take time to heal from the trauma. But when they are ready, that is exactly what occurs. And they are ready to then continue on their way, moving forwards. You may wonder, as regards to the evolution of the spirit, always moving forwards, always wishing to learn and grow and progress. You may wonder, well, doesn't it ever get tired? Doesn't it ever stop? And you see, it is our understanding that at some glorious point in the existence of all time, once your blessed spirit, your divine light, has found all the answers to all the questions, and has been able to determine the answer to the question, who am I? What am I? Then you see there comes a point in your evolution whereby you have become the purest form of light, and you do then reside in this eternal, peaceful state, one with the creative force of life and light. But you see, between then and now, there is an enormous amount of growth and learning and opportunity. And whilst it may feel to be quite an enormous thought, or perhaps quite overwhelming, it is simply, dear ones, to continue taking each step at a time, each day as it comes, and facing as best you can that which is before you, in the many different areas of your lives, your relationships, your personal lives, your families, your careers, your leisure pursuits, matters of health and finance, matters of the spirit, and so forth. All the different aspects that make up your whole life in the earthly world. There is much exploration, of course, be it by your own free will and choice as to the degrees of integration, shall we say, or rather exploration. And so, dear ones, we seem to have deviated somewhat from our original topic matter of life in the spiritual realms. But you see, there are so very many aspects that we wish to touch upon with you, to offer our words for your digestion, perhaps your contemplation, if it is your desire to do so. We should like to share a few more thoughts with you. But of course, being very mindful that we do not become tiresome to your ears, you see. We also wish to state and make it perfectly clear that for those individuals in the earthly world who, when their time has come to leave it and travel onward, we know there are many, perhaps, who are not ready to be met by particular loved ones or particular friends or individuals, and they worry that those individuals shall still be there nevertheless waiting for them. And this can create a stress and a fear in itself. So let us address this very swiftly in stating this to you. You see, we reside at a point in our existence and our evolution where we have a little more foresight than yourselves in the earthly world. So you see, it is known by us and by your own beloveds as to whether you shall be ready to be reunited or not when your time indeed does come to leave the earthly world. And if it is, for example, that you are not ready to meet a particular individual or several individuals, beloveds, perhaps parents or grandparents or partner or a particular individual, then you see they will know that, they will respect that, and they will not be present. For you see, it is not anyone's desire in our world to create great trauma or upset or difficulty, indeed not. We live in a world of love, of peacefulness and of purity, of openness and awakening, of kindness for all life in our world and the earthly world and other worlds within the universe, you see. So you see, we are very, very mindful of all of these aspects. And those companions, those beloveds who have left the earthly world and travelled on before you, now are in such a position to continue to walk beside you. If it is the case that it is an understanding that you are comfortable in that relationship and that connection with that particular individual, then you see they can indeed accompany you along the way. You may wonder, well, what good is that if I can't see them or I can't hear them or I do not even know that they're there? But rest assured, you see, there are moments within silence in your earthly lives, perhaps fleetingly, perhaps in those moments when you go to bed at night and your mind becomes quiet, or when you awaken the next morning. There are these opportunities, you see, whereby we can draw very close to you, not to startle, not to frighten, but you see, to bring our love, our comfort, our reassurance, you see, that life is eternal, that even when the physical body is deceased and is no longer, the spirit is alive, it is joyful, it is radiating its glorious light to you, Your beloveds wish you to know how close they are beside you, observing that which occurs day to day, bringing love and upliftment in the manner of which we are able to do. And we know that for some in the earthly world do not have a belief that life continues and that such aspects of your own beloved standing beside you in a spiritual format, so to speak, cannot occur. And of course, quite rightly, that is your belief, that is your understanding. We are not here to put the cat amongst the pigeons, as we believe the modern expression to be. We simply offer these words from a point of our own experience, from a point of our own understanding, and once more shall never enforce anything upon you. It is your own choice whether you accept or reject that which we share with you in this opportunity and equally any other opportunities. We know that there are many in the earthly world who believe that they have a guardian angel, someone watching over, whether they be related by way of family and bloodline, so to speak, or not. And you see, once more, it is our understanding that you are indeed guided most gently. You are enfolded in love. You may wonder why it is the case that in those moments, perhaps when you feel most desperate in the earthly world, perhaps your mind has become clouded with fear, with anxiety, perhaps with depression or other matters of mental health, or emotionally that you may feel isolated or alone, or experiencing the turmoil of grief and loss. But let it be known most clearly, dear ones, most wholeheartedly, that we stand exactly by your side, embracing you with the light and the power and the healing from our world. You see, it is not within our capacity to remove these traumas of which you go through. It would be inappropriate, even though it creates a pain and a distress to see our own beloveds in the earthly world also going through their own pain and distress. But you see, from our perspective in our world, these feelings are able to be released very swiftly, once more, because we live in a world of love and enlightenment and peacefulness and healing and purity. But we understand, of course, it is different in the earthly world, and of course we have lived physically our own incarnation in the earthly world and know and understand of these difficult matters, matters of the mind. Let us not forget the body also. But you see, once more, we are able to bring and offer that light, that healing and that power to you, to assist you. But you see, it would be quite inappropriate for us to step over the line of, let us say, 50% that which is appropriate. For you see, in doing so, we would be robbing you and denying you of the experience of which you are living in the earthly world to undertake. And whilst it may seem cruel, please understand when we say it is not the case. For you see, your own spirit, your divine light, relishes these opportunities to embrace the suffering in the earthly life, to learn, to evolve, to grow, to refine, you see. It may seem a difficult concept to understand. Why would it be the case that your own spirit would choose such suffering and difficulty? That you see, it is our understanding already that your spirit, your divine light, the suffering of which you endure in the earthly world is a reflection of the evolution of your own spirit, your divine light. Therefore, to be perfectly clear, that the suffering and the depth of the suffering that you endure in the earthly world is indicative of the evolution of your spirit. And whilst this may not bring much solace or comfort in those moments of great despair, never forget that no matter what you face, you have the capacity within you to overcome. Truly you do. Even if in the midst of despair and darkness, you feel truly that there is no way forward, we say to you this: there always is a glimmer of hope, even if it be the size of a pinhead in the distance, many miles away. It is still there, it is still present, it is still the eternal light. And your spirit, your divine light within, cannot help but gravitate toward it. Dear ones, we encourage you once more to do all that you can in the face of such suffering and adversity, to reach out for assistance if it is your desire to do so. There are those in the earthly world who love you, who understand you, who wish dearly to assist you, and equally those in the spiritual realms who have travelled onward. You are not alone, truly you're not, unless of course it is your desire to be so. And once more, we are ever mindful of your own thought processes, your own desires, etc. And so, dear ones, this day we do feel that we shall draw our happy time to a conclusion. We feel perhaps that we have only merely scratched the surface of that which we wish to share and offer to you once more for your consideration and your contemplation. There is much to share and speak of in regard to the realms of which we live, and what we do and how we spend our time, and so forth. And we shall, with great joy, look forward to sharing with you when we come together in our next recording, our next video. We thank you, dear ones, for your time this day. Please know that we bring our blessings, our light, our eternal encouragement and upliftment to each of you. Continue as best you can, engaging in that which brings a smile to your face and warmth to your heart, that which enlivens you positively and creatively. And dear ones, for those of you who may not be able to achieve this, please know that better days are ahead. Please know that you are surrounded in the healing power and the light and the love and the closeness of your beloveds who have travelled on you, bringing their gentle reassurance and comfort, support and encouragement to you at this time. Even if it is the case that perhaps for some you may feel stuck, please know that change is ever present to varying degrees. Nothing will stay the same forever, even if it may feel to be exactly the case that it will. We bring our love to each and every one of you, and to those in turn who you love. And once more, dear ones, we thank you most wholeheartedly for your engagement this day. And we shall now wish you a good day. Until our next happy meeting together. We'll just say, friends, that I'm not tearful, I'm not upset, I'm perfectly fine. Simply sometimes when we're working and just through the process of blending together with my dear spirit friend Brian, sometimes the energetic matter just has a way of affecting, bringing moisture to my eyes or sometimes from my nose or my mouth. It's just part and parcel of how it can be sometimes. But I'm absolutely fine, and it was just lovely to spend this time together. So I will just now conclude by saying a prayer. Divine Spirit, Mother Earth, Father God, we offer our deepest gratitude once more for this time together, for all that you have shared this day, for your words, for the beautiful power and light that you have brought to all of us, that you have offered. We thank you for once more the miracle that it is that we can communicate in this way, that you love us so much and absolutely relish these opportunities to share with us, to give us many different things to think about. We thank you most deeply. And as our time together now in this video comes to its close, I ask Divine Spirit that this light and this healing power, and the love that you have brought so abundantly from your world to the earthly world, to each of us, please also continues to be sent out to the whole world, to our home planet, Mother Earth, to all life. And closer to home, we think of our families and friends and those in our hearts and our minds. And those who we know at this time may be in great need, whatever that need may be. We ask, please, Divine Spirit, that you enfold them in that glorious light, that they may be gently guided in moving forward. And I ask also, Divine Spirit, that you please help us all to indeed continue to move forwards, to be kindly to ourselves, and as best we can to accept that whilst these circumstances and these times of which we are living are really challenging with this lockdown and the virus in our world, but still there is so much goodness coming from this, that our dear home planet is less polluted, the air is clearer because there is less pollution, and the nature in the natural world perhaps is thriving in a different way to how it was several weeks ago. Help us to see the goodness from this experience. Help us to continue to lift our eyes to the heavens, so that we may be able to receive your inspiration in whatever form or forms that may take and unfold. And again, if it is our desire to receive it. Divine Spirit, I know that perhaps I may ask for so many things, but yet I'm reassured that in your sight, your love, and your understanding that all things are possible in some way. Once more, we offer our love, our deepest gratitude for everything that we have, our dear beloveds, and once more, our dear treasured friends, and all those in our lives, whether that's in a small capacity or in a very large, profound way. We offer our own thanks and gratitude to all of them, for everything that they have brought to our lives, the opportunities to learn and grow. We thank you, Divine Spirit. And until we are joined together again, I ask, please, that you continue to bring your blessings and your guidance and your healing to each of us. Thank you. Amen. Well, thank you, friends, for once more spending this time, sharing this time together. Excuse me. I do hope that you've gained something from this time and you've enjoyed it. And we really do greatly look forward to spending more time together, to sharing that which our spirit friends wish to do so. So please continue to take care, be safe, be happy as best you can be. God bless.